I just wanted you to see Ghostbusters shirt. Yeah, that's right. Ghostbusters Afterlife. First, before I even get into it, people, we have been watching Marvel movies for over 10 years. Stay until the end of the credits. Everyone left the theaters after the credits. There's 2 end credits. I'm like, guys, the lights didn't even come on. Why do y'all think that is? Stop doing that. Just learn that they want you to watch the credits so you can see the people who did their thing and stuff. I know people don't care, but some people do. It doesn't matter. Just stay until the credits end. You're better off doing that, or at least Google it to make sure there's more credits. Because like everyone left, I even yelled, I'm like, there's another credit. It just happens. So now, I'm going to review Ghostbusters Afterlife. Oh, I need oregano. First off, that's how you're supposed to do a Ghostbusters movie. That stupid answer to call abomination. And then they're complaining, well, where's because we're women? No, it's because your movie wasn't that great. When I finally sit down and review that movie, there were some good parts in it, and it kept failing. Every time they did that movie, it was like they would get you there and then fail. No. This was how you do a Ghostbusters. This is how you're supposed to do a Ghostbusters movie. We all wanted Ghostbusters 3. We got our Ghostbusters 3. So, let's just go over a few things. I'm going to keep this spoiler either super light or spoiler free. But first, I need to get oregano. Now, showing that once again, critics, I get their existence, but I feel like their job is kind of going off the rails and unnecessary, because instead of being honest about, and a lot of times to be critical, they're kind of just being shills a lot of times. So if you see like the Rotten Tomatoes, which this tells you right there, Ghostbusters is at like 98, and I think for audience and like 63 for critics. I think Clifford had a similar thing. Like, that's completely dumb. The movie is great, and critics, somewhere along the lines, they're too busy looking for check boxes instead of actually looking at the movie that they're watching presented. People were watching this movie, they laughed. I seen a few people cry, because there is some scenes in there where it kind of fills your heart up. It has some heartfeltness to it. It had that Ghostbuster fun. It had mystery. It had nostalgia in it, but it wasn't a nostalgia fest where it's like nostalgia everywhere. It like kind of has some Easter eggs. And when it did do its nostalgia part, it did its nostalgia part. It just had some really cool hitting on the cylinders. Paul Rudd's character was great. I love the story and how it unfolded, and there was this beautiful heartfelt moment in the family, and just I'm not spoiling nothing. You need to go check this movie out. If you want my rating, you know what, because I enjoyed it so much, I'm gonna put this up there. And I know some people won't agree with me when I put this rating, but for me personally, the Ghostbusters 3 I've been waiting for, which, by the way, if you want to play the original Ghostbusters 3, you go back and play the video game. This, I think it's like called Slime something, because that kind of felt like a Ghostbusters 3 for all these years. Since I was a kid, I wanted a Ghostbusters 3. And we got it. It covers where they've been, what's going on without dragging it out. It's like enough that you know you get brought up to date. And one of the great things about this movie is that you could take someone who's never watched a single Ghostbusters, they would do this, and they would not get lost, because it's like it's almost like a discovery. And the movie itself was just a really good time. The way it opened, I was curious on how they were going to open it up, and it was very action packed. you got to see something different and interesting, and you got to get who and what everything was about. And like I said, people just, I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, but people were clapping and cheering, and it was just awesome, man. Like it hit everything I wanted to. There is one complaint I have, but I understand, but it's still a complaint. There was something missing, or someone or something that was missing, maybe two, that I would have liked to have seen in the movie. But outside of that, and I understand why, it was golden. And it wasn't just golden, it was awesome. Like, I had a great time. I heard, like I said, literally, I seen some people have tear up because there was some heartfelt, just get you in the feels kind of stuff. And they got you with, like I said, nostalgia. It was cool. The Ghostbusting was cool. What I also liked was they did tiny improvements on the CG, because if you've never watched Ghostbusters before, honestly, in my personal opinion, that stuff still holds up. Like, when you see them with the proton packs and all the stuff, it actually holds up. And the kids, even when you're following them, they didn't annoy me. Like, they gave enough story that it was like, yo, this is really cool. And yet they also didn't go so hard with the kids. Like, they felt real and normal. And I don't know the actress's name, but the little girl with the glasses that was the genius, I feel like a lot of this movie was kind of carried on her back, and she carried it like a champ. Like, it could have went south really quick, and everyone had their little, like, a role to play. They had their, like, little thing going on, which I thought was great. I love that when everybody feels like they had something happening. And it's also very funny because they have their own version of Slimer, which I thought was cool. I like the kid. Well, I don't remember the Asian kid's name. It was her friend. I know his, light spoil. Well, now, because it's kind of funny when you hear it, so I'm not going to say. I'm just going to say she had a friend. And the name was funny, and it stood out to me, and that's the main name I remember from the movie. So that says a lot. And it was great. It top to bottom blew my mind. Had another one. Like, I loved every second of it. I was not, like, slowed down. I wasn't looking at the clock. I was so focused and zeroed in on what was happening, what it was, and you saw the growth of the characters. Finn Wolfhard's character was coming into his own, and the youngest one, the sister, she had a lot of character growth throughout. Yet she had certain things that were very, very, very much Egon, and it was just beautiful. And when you get to see where some of this goes, how they try to, how she figures the stuff out, it's like, this is amazing. Now, this is not spoiler, because seeing it in the trailer, the Ecto-1, when the door flips open, kind of like when the Ninja Turtles have the gunner seat, I love that too, because that was a homage, however you want to say it, to the cartoon show. And that was amazing. I was so happy when I saw that. Whoa! Why is this person slowing down as I'm slowing down? Yeah. Trash can just blew right in front of me. Like, literally into my car. that was awesome. Hope there it didn't scratch or nothing. But, however, the Ghostbusting was great. There are some things you got to stretch your imagination on, just some small things. And it was kind of like, okay, kind of thing. But it worked for the movie, and for a kid, like, it was like, and I didn't notice anyone else seemed to have an issue with it. It's just my brain sometimes will catch little stuff, and I'm like, how are they able to fit that? And also, too, there was interactions with characters, and there was a deep connection to one that I really thought was awesome with the little girl. I thought it was great. And it just sits together, and it was so cool because the fact that Ivan Reitman's son is the one that did it. This movie, he's the one that did the original Ghostbusters. And I just thought that was cool. And I love how they like mentioned the big battle in New York and, you know, all the stuff. And now, if you don't know, Sony has this thing called Ghost Corp. They put, the part of the reason why they came out with this movie is because they put a ton, and I mean a ton of stock into this. There's a whole section at the Sony studio place that is dedicated to Ghostbusters and Ghost Corp. And I think Ghost Corp was supposed to end up becoming something else outside of the name of Ghostbusters. And they were originally trying to do something. There was supposed to be a cartoon show coming. I kept hearing about a thing about Chris Pratt was going to play something and all that. And after the Answer the Call, which I guess Sony realized, maybe don't insult your fans or hire people who like to insult your fans, and actually just make an awesome movie. I feel like this could be the start of something special, and I hope it is. I would love to get a Ghostbusters cartoon. I would love to get a Ghostbusters. Well, we already have the comic book. Even the female ones had a comic book, and the little bit I read of theirs, it wasn't terrible. It honestly wasn't. There's a crossover there that actually I really liked. But with the kids, I'm like, this reminds me of Extreme Ghostbusters, when the Next Generation took over, and in Extreme Ghostbusters, Egon was still keeping things running. And it felt like it harked back to that a little bit, but with the kids doing it. And the awesome part about the kids is you can have these kids be in this franchise for the next 20 years, and they would be maybe in their 30s. That's awesome. So basically, I just think that this blew my mind. It was excellent. People laughed, people cried, clapped all over the place. Just clap, 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 clap constantly throughout. And it wasn't annoying. It was just great. And by the end, I mean, I was making noise. I was like, whoa. So it blew my mind. You need to go see it. Support this film, because this is the real Ghostbusters movie. Just like the real Justice League movie is the Snyder Cut. This was a good third movie. If they could take it there if they wanted to. If they don't have to. But I really would like to see. I remember them talking about this Ghost Corp thing. And I feel like that's what we're going to get. That next thing is going to be where it becomes global, which I think the video game to Answer the Call had that, and it was even a bad video game. It was like super repetitive. But I like the idea of the video game. They should have did way more. I rambled on long enough. This is the Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Tell me if you've seen Ghostbusters. And I'll see you.